What's good, everyone? I just came out of the Flash film, so I'm trying to collect my thoughts. But my first thought is this movie's terrible. For me personally, I think I'm giving it a 4 out of 10 if I'm being generous. I'm not a DC person, but if you really like terrible CGI and annoying lead actors, this is the movie for you. The CGI is god awful, and people in my theater laughed at parts they shouldn't have laughed at. I see what they were trying to do, but it was quite comical. I did like Michael Keaton. I did like him as Batman, but he couldn't save this film. He did the best that he could do, and there was not much. On the woke factor, didn't think the movie was woke at all. I just think it was highly stupid, and like I said, it was corny and cringe throughout the film, and I don't know, man. It's just like they were just trying too hard. The cameos were wow. They were not good. They did cameos of people that have passed on, and they could have used other people, you know. But we'll get into spoilers in just a second. But that's all I got. I find this movie forgettable, cringy, and the worst CGI I have ever seen. The thing about too is like when the Flash is running, he's also like, it looks like he's like running in slow motion when everything else is in slow motion, and it just seemed off to me. It just didn't seem like it just didn't seem right. It seemed like in the X-Men movie with Quicksilver, they got it right. I believe it was Quicksilver. They got it right. Like that seemed more realistic than what I saw here. That opening scene in this film was like with it. All right. Let me do this. We're just gonna go right into spoilers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The opening scene of this film with the Flash, and he is at a hospital, and all these babies fall out of the window, and he's low. His metabolism's low, and he's trying to save these babies while they're floating through the air and eating stuff out of vending machines at the same time. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. So let's just talk cameos. The biggest issue I had was they brought back people from the dead. Christopher Reeve was a cameo, should never have been. Found that very disrespectful. George Reeves was in this. What the heck is he doing in there? Adam West was in here as well. If they really wanted to do something cool, they should have got like a guy from Smallville, a Dean Cain, and the Superman from Superman Returns. Those guys are all alive. They could have done something. I did appreciate the Nick Cage meme, though. I thought that was funny, and maybe that should have been the only one they had in there. But I never saw Flashpoint. I never was too into the DC thing, so I'm coming at it, I guess, from a little different perspective. But apparently, you know, Barry discovers from some painful memory that he could run fast enough and go through time. But he ended up in a timeline that wasn't his own, where he meets young Barry, as you saw in the previews, and General Zod shows up. Basically what happened is he ended up in a world that was doomed to be destroyed no matter what he did. And even though he tried to fix it, he ended up giving his powers to young Barry, who probably wasn't going to get them anyway. He discovers a Michael Keaton Batman who was retired because there was no crime. And then they found Supergirl, which was they had Supergirl kept in some container where she wasn't getting any sunlight. So he ends up resurrecting old Batman to bring him out of retirement, getting Supergirl back together to go fight Zod, and Zod just keeps winning. And so they keep running through time to try to change it, to see if they can win. And Barry, the original Flash, realizes that you just can't do it. You got to learn to let go. And the younger Barry says, no, we can fix it over and over, until eventually he gets to be like really old. And and he's just like, no, we got to fix it. And he's been trying for years to try to fix that one scene so his world doesn't blow up and he doesn't lose his mom. And old Barry gets ready to fight young Barry in the middle of these time warps that look terrible. The CGI is absolutely terrible. The actor that played Zod acted like he didn't even want to be there. And young Barry from the planet that gets to be blown up like stopped old Barry, and they ended up killing each other. And then the regular Flash puts everything back to where it goes. The problem is, like, there was only one scene where people in my theater clapped, and that's when Michael Keaton kind of cleaned himself up. He put on the bat suit, and he looks in the camera and goes, "I'm Batman," and the people in my theater clapped, but it could not save the film whatsoever. Supergirl wasn't terrible. It's just like I can't express this enough that the CGI was so bad, it made everything look bad. It just made everything look bad. This was like Thor: Love and Thunder, terrible CGI. So anyway, we ended up laughing at parts that you shouldn't laugh at. The jokes didn't land, and Barry was just extremely annoying. So at the very end, when the Flash thought he was back in his world and everything was fine, Batman called, and he goes, "Oh man, I got to tell you what happened, Batman." And Batman's like, "Oh, I'm pulling up now." They're on the phone. He pulls up, and it's George Clooney, the George Clooney Batman. So Barry didn't go back to his timeline. He went to another one where it is George Clooney instead of Ben Affleck. I thought Ben Affleck was great. It was good to see him as Batman, but even he looked really funny at the beginning. There's also a cameo from Wonder Woman, and at the end credit scene, there's also a cameo from Aquaman, which is really kind of dumb. So all in all, the movie for me gets a 4, and I can't compare it to Flashpoint, even though others are. But if you just want to sit there and laugh at like how bad can they make this film, to me, that is what this movie is. Anyways, Jay. And if you have any questions, ask me. Again, I just came out of the theater, so I'm just collecting my thoughts. And I'll catch you next time.